Alright, hello my followers, it's the Rambler again, and today I'm going to be commenting on a video that has been going viral in the YouTube streets by Stephco, and it is I don't have pretty privilege, and it sucks. As you can see by my thumbnail, I crossed out sucks and put it's okay. And the reason why I did that is because it's okay. I think I'm gonna talk in terms of like a woman's perspective because that's the only perspective I know. I am a woman biologically and gender wise. I do identify as a woman, as some scientists may say. I am a cisgender woman. So I will be speaking in a woman's perspective, and what I notice is that there have been a lot of pretty privileged videos and pretty privileged this and that and pretty privileged topics going around for the past few weeks, both on YouTube, on Twitter, and even on the ghetto ass Lipstick Alley. Last week, they literally posted a study saying how pretty people make more money, but the disparities between black women is much larger than other races. So basically saying that it to me it just seemed like there's more of a chance for black women to be seen as unattractive and therefore not make as much money. And according to the person who did the study, it was based on colorism as well. His name is Alex Monk. For anyone who wants to check out the study, his name is Ellis Monk on Twitter. He's basically a social scientist. He's a black man, and he is an associate professor of sociology at Harvard, and he's done a lot of studies on race and gender issues. So before I go into this pretty privileged topic, I want to make sure I give this dude his flowers. He does extensive research on like race and the perception of colorism and attractiveness. So anyone who wants to check that out, go ahead. Now let me just delve into this video. The reason why I mentioned the study as well is because I noticed that a lot of like these pretty privileged videos, even on TikTok as well, as you can see I use a bunch of social media, but even on TikTok as well, I notice a lot of the people talking about I don't have pretty privilege seems to be dark-skinned women. You know, this is just my observation, but then again, I could be biased because my algorithm is geared towards black creators, and I usually go for darker skinned black creators because I am a dark-skinned black woman myself, for those who didn't know. So I watched Stephco's video on pretty privilege and other videos that she has done, and what I do want to say is that I am, to be honest, I don't know how to feel about it because, look, I'm gonna say this right now, like, for people wondering why I'm faceless, it's not because I'm like unattractive or anything. I'm faceless because it just takes time to edit a video, and I gotta worry about lighting and all types of stuff. And like when I want to do thoughts like this, I kind of want to go off the brain and off the fly. And I think people don't understand how much work it takes to position a camera. I've done that. I've tried to do that with videos before, and couldn't succeed. But however, I will say this: I am an average looking black woman, which is fine, you know, because most people are average looking. And when I saw Stephco's video, the first thing I thought was, what is this pity party that we're having over not being attractive when most people, if you look around, and I feel like, this is partially to blame because we've been on social media so damn long with this pandemic. It's like people think other people must be looking like Beyonce out here when Beyonce a rarity. Kelly Rowland's a rarity compared to the population, like a rarity. Like, how many of the population is like objectively beautiful? It's not a lot of people. Like, with 7 billion people on this earth, like maybe what, like 2 million at most, maybe slightly more, slightly less, maybe 5 million. But like, most people are average looking, and I feel like part of the reason why people keep having these discussions is that we don't go outside and actually see people. Like, I myself, like, kind of suffered from that mentality too when I was stuck inside and all I had was social media and seeing all these people vacation and look pretty 24/7, wake up looking pretty and stuff. But as like bans started to lift and I started going outside back into normal life, you realize most of us don't have no damn pretty privilege. Most of us are not cute, and that's okay. Like our grandparents did it no problem. Like, our grandparents weren't stunners out here, but they did the damn thing. And a lot of them, though I won't say all of them, I'll talk about the previous generation in another video. Any fans of mine, please remind me. I feel like I always talk about in another video. I will. But one thing I've noticed is that, like, our grandparents weren't stunners. They were out here doing the damn thing, living the life, and it's like they didn't seem too worried about being the center of attention. And I feel like with this generation, we have that problem. So back to Stephco's video. First thing I just want to say, wow at the black don't crack. If she ever falls across this video, wow at the black don't crack. Because, like, you could not tell me that woman is 37 years old. She looks so freaking cute. Like, chick is adorable. And, like, she has a very youthful appearance. So, just starting there, it's not like a compliment or anything, just an observation. And to comment on, like, the actual feeling she has expressed in the video, the first thing I thought of as an average looking black woman is, one, I appreciate the transparency, but to what extent? That was the first thing I thought of, because, my goodness, like, from seeing the video, I do appreciate the vulnerability, but I think, like, I'm very against being super vulnerable with strangers on here. They have no inhibitions. They have no like, want to protect you. And, like, I noticed with this conversation in particular, it had just become a pity party every single time, you know? Like, it just becomes a place where people state grievances and not, like, come up with solutions on how to better stuff. And it's just tiring. Like, I had to stay out of the comment section because I'm no longer in that part of my life where, like, I care about being pretty as much. But I watched the video and, like, do I appreciate her transparency? The first thing I think is, like, are people that deserving of your transparency? Yes, people are going through it, but I think her mentioning how it sucks, you know, like, I would say, this may be an unpopular opinion, but, like, saying how it sucks, like, how does it improve? Like, what I've noticed with people is that people are glad to hear you're just as fucked up as them and, like, going through stuff as much as them, because it gives them the desire to say, you know what, I'm not that bad. I could look at you and you have it worse. And that's the vibe I got with some of the comments, like the comments I've seen on Lipstick Alley. You know, like, it was more of like a thank God I'm not you, or like, I am you and it sucks. And I want women to know that, like, it's okay to not be pretty. Most of us are not pretty. Most of us do not have pretty privilege, and we're out here living life. Let's start there. And the transparency she gave may have been, like, helpful to some people, but all I see is how someone, especially with the way this video is going viral, to the point that, like, almost every black YouTuber I know is talking about it. Every black female YouTuber I know is talking about it and addressing it. And, like, Steph is a small YouTuber right now, and, like, bigger platforms are addressing this. So I'm like, wow, this thing is really going viral. And all I could think of is, like, it's good to be vulnerable, but only with people who deserve it. And I'm, like, against being vulnerable in front of, like, a bunch of strangers on the internet, because they'll be the same ones to use it against you when it's time. And the first thing I thought with this video going viral is that this has now increased the probability of someone who knows her or is getting to know her to see that video and see where she is mentally, and they could actually use that for a way of manipulation, in my opinion. Like, even if you look like doo-doo on the street, like, I don't think you should ever let people know that, like, it is not good and you're, like, affected by it. Vulnerability is for yourself, and for you to be true to yourself and not other people. So, like, when she released that video, the first thing I'm thinking is, I really hope that whatever man sees that video doesn't see it and say, aha, there's an opportunity, and now I could tell her the things she wants to hear because she gave me the blueprint. And I'm sure, like, at that age, she's, like, wise enough. I've seen her other videos, and she seems to have a lot of wisdom accumulated through life experience, which I respect, and I respect her honesty. I'm just afraid of the predators that would see that vulnerability and exploit it. From the followers to, like, men in her life who may have seen that video and then see an insecurity that they can now, like, scoop in. But like she said, she's confident. She herself doesn't think she's ugly, and she actually I don't think it, like, brings her down, but it's just something that affects her, and it's probably not as personal. So that's, like, the first thing. The second thing I want to say is the fact that I don't know, I kind of got the vibe that it was a colorism thing, because I'm not gonna lie, it's not hard to find her Instagram. Just another thing back to, like, people being able to find you and exploit things. Like, it was not hard at all to find her Instagram, partially because it's the same name she uses for her YouTube channel. And then I looked up these so-called friends that she said were, like, super beautiful and super attractive and all of this. And then when I looked at the photos, I was like, wait a minute, you guys are, like, all equally pretty, in my opinion. Like, this is just, like, my stranger opinion. Some may agree, some may disagree. They're, like, equally pretty, and I'm like, this, as an objective observer, I don't think it's because she's lacking in looks. I think it may be energy, and I don't think it's the energy or confidence. I think, like, confidence is great, but, like, as you would know, like, no confidence would make a man fall in love with you or anything. It's either he likes your look or doesn't like your look. However, I'm gonna say a brief story about someone I know. I know this woman. When I tell you, this woman is not a pretty woman at all. She has, like, screwed up teeth and everything. However, everywhere she goes, she has women and men looking at her. And it's not only confidence. I think one thing I've noticed with Steph in her videos, she gives a sisterly vibe. Like, she gives me like best friend vibe, and I think it may have been like lack of sex appeal, because like I know a woman who looks like absolutely worse than her. Like, y'all think I'm kidding? Like, the woman's like my age and looks way older than her age, got sunken eyes, everything, like screwed up teeth, everything, but like she can't stop attracting attention. Women want her, men want her, and I think the secret sauce is sex appeal. And the woman's the same color as Stephco as well. You know, the women don't have like the prettiest features at all, but she has sex appeal that just oozes off of her, like someone who's comfortable in their sexuality. And not to say that Stephco is uncomfortable in her sexuality at all. I don't know this woman personally, so I'm not going to make any assumptions. However, the vibe I have gotten from like her photos and herself, like she doesn't seem to have so much like sex appeal, you know, and that's fine if she doesn't want that, you know, but like if you want to attract like certain men, there's a certain vibe you have to have. Like, people think beauty is the end all be all, but like when you're dealing in a neurotypical world, you'll be very surprised how you could easily sway people with feelings, you know, like based on how they feel about you and how you make them feel. And what I've gotten from Stephco's videos, I keep saying Stephco, that's her name. Oh, Stephco. Love your content, by the way. But what I get from her videos too is that like someone who takes the world as it is does have like a bit of negative realism. I will say that she does seem to be like a realist, but like more focused on the negative sides or the realism, and not like the positive the positive sides of realism. And like I'm sure with time that will change. It's not too late for her. Like, let's start there. Like, I know some people, as she like gets more followers, the thing I'm afraid of is like people going and telling her she hit the wall because she 37 or whatever. Look, I know grown women had kids, healthy babies at like 45. It's rare, but like it happens. And like I don't want nobody bring no stats, because all stats show is like a result of people's actions and not necessarily what your outcome is going to be. It just means that, hey, we recorded these people's actions and how they acted. That's all it is. Record of results that have already happened. So like it's not too late for her to find somebody, and somebody she wants as well. You know, maybe she could try different stuff. Like, I don't know what goes on in her life. She's gonna have to do the self-evaluation to get the results she wants. But like I'm sure she could observe a difference between like her and her friends' results. And like I said again, it is not because of her looks. I've seen the friend group. They are all of equal levels of attractiveness. Just a group of attractive, everyday women. And I think it's just more of the energy she gives off. Like, you could be confident. Like, I'm a confident person, but I know I don't have sex appeal. Which is why, like, people see me. Like, your confidence could really, like, give people different vibes. There's different kinds of confidence. And, like, in my personal experience, I give boss bitch confidence, which would not work in a setting where I have to appeal to a man. And I have to admit that as confident as I am, it may not be necessarily that would appeal to a man. Like, maybe she needs to find her seductive side if she hasn't already, or like if she has, like maybe she needs to utilize it more. That could be it. But like I said, I can't diagnose the person. I barely know based on like what 30-minute videos they put on their channel. Alright, so I'm gonna go into like why it's okay to not be pretty one more time, and it's because most of us are not attractive. Like, I'm sorry, I'm tired of this Debbie Downer crap. I really am. Like, at every set point in my life, I can't take it anymore. And this is coming from someone who used to be a Deborah Downer. Like, I was the depressed Deborah Downer. I was depressing everybody around me. Like, just me being silent alone, just the vibe I gave would bring down a room. And it was to the point that I wasn't invited to parties. And it was because of the obsession of my looks. Like, I'm a dark-skinned woman. I'm like Lupita's color. And all my life, I've been told, like, thank God I'm not as dark as you. You're ugly. You look like a monkey and a gorilla. And the issue was not, as I've grown older, I found out the issue is not the fact that I quote-unquote look like a gorilla or a monkey, or the fact that I am dark-skinned. The issue was that I internalized that stuff. And I took it to heart. I made it seem like just because I wasn't pretty, I couldn't do other things. And that, I find that was my biggest mistake, and I think that's a mistake that a lot of people who don't have pretty privilege are getting into. Like, we think because we're not pretty, we're not worth it either. You know, and we think because we're not pretty, we can't do anything. And that is so self-defeatist, to base your entire life and your choices based on one moment when your fulcrum connected to itself and your face became your face. So based on that one moment that you had no control over in the womb, and to think it defines your entire life. That is a suckish way to live. You know, that is a suckish way to live. There is no benefit to that except crying nights. And how long can you cry before you have to drink water again? You know, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the pity parties don't make sense. Like, you get tired of your own pity party. And, like, the reason why I got to this point is because I got tired of crying and swimming in my tears over something I can't control. Because, like, what I noticed with a lot of these pretty privileged videos as well is the lack of wanting to change. Like, no offense to people, like, there are some people who are, like, hit hard. Like, goddamn, like, you've been hit with the ugly stick. But they living good lives, too. Like, one of the, I'm gonna say this, I know it's saying popular, but, like, since ugly's considered bad, I don't consider ugly bad. You just are, some of us are not facially attractive. But one of the ugliest girls I knew, you know, she had dwarfism as well. And she was just, like, a preemie. Like, the girl was hideous, okay? However, the girl had one of the most amazing attitudes and confidence, and she didn't let people walk over her because she realized she can control the way she looks. However, she could control the narrative of how she allows people in her life based on what she looks like. And I feel, and, like, after I learned that from her, I'm like, well, what can really stop me? You know, like, people are gonna have their opinions on what you look like. But, like, what does crying about pretty privilege do for you? Like, really ask yourself, like, for those of you who may have cried today about, like, why am I not pretty? Why am I not gorgeous? Why can't I be like my pretty cousin or my pretty friend? Or why can't I get the results I want based on my looks? Like, really ask yourself, did crying ever make you prettier? Or did you just get, like, that mean headache after you bawled? And then you have to go back to looking the way you do. So then it becomes like, what are you going to do? And what I noticed with a lot of these pretty privileged videos is that a lot of these people are complaining, but there doesn't seem to be a want to change. It just becomes a Debbie Downer's party and a crybaby party. And it's, to be frank, it's annoying. And it's not any offense to Stephco, by the way. This is just talking in general. Like, it is flipping annoying. Like, they'll say, I don't have pretty privilege and I'm sad, but, like, they haven't combed their hair in weeks. And I'm just like, ma'am, you know you gotta, like, groom yourself prettier, not just basic, like, looking like you care. like you care about yourself. Like there just seems to be an aversion to change. They're like, I'm ugly and it's true, but like their hair is unwashed, they're not taking care of themselves. And I think a lot of them just give a vibe that like, and I'm talking about not just black women, this is just all over the spectrum. I've seen this with the men and women, like they just don't want to change. You're wearing, some of them wear haircuts unflattering to their face and they look like they've given up on life. So it's not you, isn't the problem is not that you lack pretty privilege, because the truth is most of us don't even have that. The problem is that you look like you don't care about yourself. That's the real issue right there. It's not that you're not pretty. That's the issue. It's the fact that like you look like you given up on life. And I feel like some people need to take care of themselves, but I know what that feels like, to give up on life because you feel like people have judged you so harshly. And I know how painful it is, believe me. Like I was that girl, like strangers stopped me on the street, like I got spat on as a child because my dark skin and my quote unquote ugly face. You know, people used to stop me in the street just to tell me I was hideous, y'all. Like people took photos of me without my permission and sent it to their friends and made me a laughing stock. Like it was no joke out here in these streets. It was a struggle, but like I made it through. And what's most important is that you keep your peace of mind. That's your most important part. Like I gotta give credits to Saucus Ray as well for all of you, for anyone who doesn't know this YouTuber. Like I was already on my accepting myself journey, but like she really skyrocketed me into making sure I complete the journey on foot without needing anyone's approval, because like that woman really helped me with like self-acceptance, because it's like you don't have pretty privilege, but now what? Most of us don't have it. Does that mean you give up on life? Does that mean that you should hate yourself? No, it should not. Focus on the things that you can do. You could not control your face. We can't all be Victoria's Secret models out here, okay? We can't all model for Abercrombie and Fitch, or else it wouldn't be special. Those people wouldn't have jobs if we were all hot. Imagine if we were all hot, man, then everyone would be average and it wouldn't be special and beauty wouldn't mean anything. You know, and a lot of the things we have would be obsolete. So, like, things like that have to exist, and even then, it's okay. Like, why would you sit and moan over something you have zero control over? And, like, for the things you can control, like, why aren't you doing them? And, it's okay if you're not attractive. Like I feel like in this society, especially with women too, I feel like the expectation is high with women. Men have the expectation as well. If you look up research, men suffer from body dysmorphic disorder as much as women do. However, I feel like women, it's harder on us because we are expected. Part of the package, so-called package, societal package of being a woman is being hot. It's like we're obligated to be cute 24/7, okay? And that shit is stressful. And it's unrealistic as hell, because the same people putting these beauty standards up, you look at their parents and it's like, well, you're not a product of hot people. Where you come from with this bullshit, you know? And I feel like a lot of us women are upset, not that we aren't beautiful, but we feel like we aren't worth it because we aren't beautiful. And that is just utter nonsense. Because even then, like, the same people telling you have to be beautiful to be worth it, they're the same ones complaining when they believe all you have is looks. They clown the pretty woman and clown the ugly woman the same way, except with the ugly woman, it's like, oh, you have no looks, so you have no worth. And with pretty women, it's like, oh, all you have is looks. Do you have anything else? You know, like, we just get judged either way. And I think it's time for women to let go of this damn beauty thing. Like, it is ridiculous now. Most of us didn't even make it. Like, how the hell are we holding on to stuff that we don't even fit in ourselves? Like, how are you holding on to standards that don't even apply to you? You know, like, why do we strive to make pretty a thing? And, like, the problem is that we equate it with beauty, with worth. Like, when Dove made that campaign, I remember seeing that video as a teen. And I'm thinking, this is one stupid ass shit. But, like, the Dove video where, it say, are you beautiful or average? And women walk into the entrances and stuff. And I'm like, do you know how damaging that is? You think being positive made it better, but all you did was put the expectation on women to have to be beautiful in order to be worth it. And I remember this one woman went through the average door, and like they asked her, I think she was the only woman they questioned, because one, what she did was out of the norm, and two, it's like they saw average as a bad thing for some reason. They were like, so why did you walk through the average door? And she's like, because I'm average looking. Like, it's not a big deal. But, like, I guess they kind of wore her down. And then, like, she finally said something about, like, how she's going to go through the beautiful door next time or something like that. I forgot. But, like, there's this, it's like, women have to be pretty. And I'm just here to tell you, you don't have to. And I feel like with social media, it's harder because all we see are pretty people. But, like, some of these people, you see them in person and they're underwhelming. And then some of them are actually beautiful, but even then, like, what does her beauty have to do with you? You know, what does her anything have to do with you? Like, she's more beautiful than you. It is what it is. You know, you gotta accept that. And it's not a bad thing to accept it either. Like, I feel like with a lot of women, we have so much aversion to say we're not pretty because people assume it's self-hatred. Like, I know I'm not an attractive woman. However, I'm not gonna hate my life based on that. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you base your whole life off of your face, and we could say how people judge you and stuff, but like, I just want to quickly say this: those are not people you want to be around. There are 7 billion people on this planet, and like, what I realized as a quote-unquote like ugly girl who grew up, you know, the reason why I thought that my life was the way it was because I thought I was ugly. And I'm like, oh, I'm ugly and this is the treatment I'm going to get. I'm going to be abused all the time. People are going to continue spitting on me and trying to beat me up in the corner of bathrooms because of the way I look. But then, like, I really thought about it and I realized I have a choice. You know, you have a choice with who you interact. Like, you can't stop people from judging you, but like, there are 7 billion people in this world, which increases the probability that there are people out there who will see beyond your face. And you need to look for those folks. You know, you need to look for the folks who will benefit you in this life, who wouldn't see your ugliness as a means to abuse you and hurt you and mistreat you. I'm gonna do a second video on this, addressing other parts of Stephco's argument, but that was like just my snippet on why not having pretty privilege is okay. Let me know if you want to hear more and any topics at hand. To my 10 followers, thank you for the following. Please share my videos and stay rambling.